Now, the Pova is a rebrand of the TECNO Pova line, which is actually known for the good battery life. But with this refresh of the TECNO Pova, it brings you better processing than its predecessors. Hence, I'll be comparing the TECNO Pova here with the TECNO Camon 16 from 2020. And so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. Out of the box, you pretty much get about the same number of accessories: the smartphone, the TPU case, screen protectors, and a micro USB connectors for these devices. On the Pova, you get an 18-watt fast charger, clearly for the higher battery capacity, while you get a 10-watt charging brick from the TECNO Camon 16's box. Okay, these two smartphones have a lot in common when you consider their designs. For instance, you'd notice they are actually made out of the same plastic materials. Button, SIM trays, fingerprint sensors, micro USB, 3.5mm jack ports, front camera placements are all around the same size. You still notice the large bezels on the display, and they feel about the same size when you hold them. The only differentiating features you would notice in terms of design here would be the extra button you get from the TECNO Pova here, which is a dedicated Google Assistant key, the placement of the speakers. You have the down-firing speaker for the Camon, while the Pova is up top. There are also differently designed camera modules and the flipped micro USB ports. Yeah, they are flipped, one down and the other up. I actually wonder why. So generally in terms of design, I tend to lean towards the TECNO Camon 16 here. And the camera module design at the rear of this smartphone feels bold, I would say. But here's one aspect that actually boils down to personal preference, as these devices are actually similar in a lot of ways. Speaking of aspects that are similar, you get the same 6.8-inch HD LCD displays for both devices, with a cutout notch at the top left corner of the screen. Sorry, you can't watch 1080p on YouTube as you are capped at 720. But the displays are same here in terms of specs, or even in general. Although I noticed the Pova is tuned to look a little warmer at the same level of brightness. So let me run you guys through the specs. The TECNO Pova here has 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage, runs on Android 10 and also the Helio G80 processor. While the TECNO Camon 16 on the other hand has 4 gigs of RAM, the variant I have here, 128 gigs of internal storage, Android 10 and the Helio G70 processor. Hence, performance is slightly better on the Pova. I mean, you have the luxury of running more apps in the background, and even benchmarking apps show better multi-core scores for the Pova. Now, is this a difference a lot of people who want to get any of these devices would notice? I strongly doubt that 90% of this target audience would notice this. Anyways, the Pova wins in terms of performance and speed for the smartphones. Another category where the Pova also takes the lead would be in the battery department. You get a 6000 mAh capacity for this phone, coupled with an 18-watt charger, while the Camon 16 comes bundled with 5000 mAh battery, which is actually still impressive, and a 10-watt charger. This extra 20% bump in battery capacity makes a whole lot of difference. In my battery drain test where I compared the smartphones, I'd have the video linked in the description box below. That extra 1000 mAh gave the Pova extra 3 hours of battery life. So if battery life is something you're also looking out for, the Pova takes the lead yet again. I know the Pova seems to be taking the lead so far, but that doesn't drip over to the cameras. On the Camon, you get a quad camera configuration with a 48 megapixel spec main lens, while the rest are 2 megapixels for depth, low light and macro. The Pova, on the other hand, also boasts of a quad camera configuration, a 13 megapixel main lens, with the rest being 2 megapixels for macro, depth, and I guess a QVGA sensor. The Camon series as we know it is targeted towards mobile photography, and this does the better job here. Take for instance, this pre-cam photo. The Camon gives a truer to life image here, while the Pova tries to compensate for less details by adding more saturation to the photo. This pattern kinda continues in a lot of images. Under the same lighting condition, the Camon takes the lead, as can also be seen in the portrait photos here. The night mode feature, which you can only get from the Camon 16, makes a lot of difference when you take photos at night. Even though the photo might look kinda soft, it does a better night shot. I mean, it's there. Over to the front-facing cameras, you get an 8 megapixel for the Pova and a 16 megapixel for the Camon 16. More details yet again from the Camon, and generally better images come from the Camon 16. Videos on both are good for what they are, with a max resolution of 2K. I wouldn't say the Pova is doing a bad job here as it tries to keep up with the Camon. For the price, the TECNO Pova comes in at a $10 higher price than the TECNO Camon 16. You can pick up the Pova for around 82,000 naira or 175 bucks, while the Camon 16 can be gotten for around 78,000 naira or $165. So it is that part of the video where I help you guys decide which to pick. And this is quite simple. If you want a slightly faster smartphone with the best long-lasting battery life, then the TECNO Pova is a no-brainer. But if you want to save 10 bucks and you can go with a slightly slower speed and battery life, I mean, the battery life on the TECNO Camon 16 is actually amazing too, and you want a better camera configuration, then the TECNO Camon 16 is for you. What would I personally pick? I actually prefer the Camon 16's rear design, and I would take the better cameras over batteries every time. I can use that $10 for a third-party fast charger too. The thing is, you wouldn't really go wrong with any of these devices armed with the knowledge you have right now. So which would you pick? Let me know in the comment section below. Also like, share, and subscribe to this channel if this video did help you. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Cuidado.